Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel, Dr. Yeti Real Estate. It is your favorite Atlanta real estate agent, Dr. Yeti, and I am back with yet another video. Today's going to be a little bit different because as you can see, I haven't posted in a very long time. And I have a really, really huge passion for real estate. I love networking with people and not, I wouldn't even call it networking, connecting with people. I love meeting people from all over, seeing the struggles that people have to endure and seeing blessings that people have faced, the things that people go through in this life. I love to see it. I love connecting with people. And I also love showing homes. I love giving benefits and showing people, giving benefit to the world, essentially, right? Because there are people that are having a really, really hard time getting their homes sold. Um, and I'm here to help them and guide them in getting their homes sold. And there are people that have had really bad experiences with other agents in trying to buy a home, and agents are not giving them information, agents that don't have their best interest in heart and just want to get a commission. I love helping people. That's a huge passion of mine. And when I got into this career, so many things in my mind about how this career was going to be, how I was going to just have leads just like that. People are going to want to work with me. I'm going to have all these homes sold and all these yada, 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 yada. Well, reality sunk in after my first year of practicing real estate and having zero sales. And don't get me wrong, I was working for that entire 12 months of me being an agent. I was putting in work. Your girl was working. I was going to my office. I was making calls. I even got a listing. So many things were just not working out for me. And I believe that I want to create a channel where I am going to debunk everything you think you know about real estate. Either you wanting to be a real estate agent or you being a real estate agent and not experiencing what you think your experience should be as a real estate agent. I'm here to show you I work really hard, and I'm not going to downplay the amount of work that I put into my career. I've only been in this real estate business for a year and 8 months. And the amount of passion I have in it, I have had 3 listings, okay? I've had one sale, I have one new listing. I just have so many things that I was hoping I would have done in 6 months, and it's taken almost 2 years to accomplish. And for a very long time, I really believed that I'm not doing enough. I need to be doing more. And then I compare myself with other people who have just become agents and they're killing the business and they're doing amazingly well. And then I compare myself and I'm like, why am I not doing that? What is going on? Am I not doing enough? What am I not doing? Trying to figure out what the secret sauce is. There might be a secret sauce. Someone needs to come to tell me about the secret sauce is. Whatever the case is, I just want you to know that if you are actually putting in the work and you are actually going out there and doing what you need to do as a real estate agent, do not feel discouraged. There's more out there. But today I don't want to delve into that. I wanted to preface this video by saying that this channel is going to be focused on those people and also people who are looking to find an agent in Atlanta. Shameless plug. Here I am. But also looking to find an agent and seeing what they like, interviewing agents and seeing what they want in an agent, right? Because if you have no idea what you're doing, you want to get into the business, not into the business, you want to purchase your first home, and you have no clue what the real estate world is like, the first person that says, "Hey, I can help you find your first home," you're going to jump onto it because you don't know that not all agents are the same. Just the same way it took me some time to realize that not all doctors are the same, not all real estate agents are the same. And I'm hoping that this channel will shed some light to those who are looking to purchase a home on what to look for in an agent. But That's all the preface is about. But this video here, I want to talk to you guys about my broker from hell. Okay? Broker from hell. And this video, the lesson to gain from this, any agent and a potential buyer or seller, what to look for in a broker, because this broker not just affected my business, but also affected my clients as well. And so I want to get into it. When I got my license, before I actually got my license, I wanted to find the best brokerage for me. I didn't care to do the major brokerages, Keller Williams, EXP. I didn't care about the name of the brokerage as opposed to how they make me feel. Does it feel like there are two things I was looking for. I was either looking for a close knit brokerage where it felt like family, felt like home, or I was looking for a brokerage that would leave me alone to do my business the way that I wanted to run my business. Either way, I didn't want to feel controlled, because real estate, at the end of the day, yes, my broker is holding my license. I'm the one doing all the work. I'm the one going out and finding the clients and selling the house and doing the home tours and all these things. I'm the one doing the work. So I don't want to feel restricted in my business. One of the reasons why I got into real estate was because I wanted to feel like I am running my own business, and I don't want to get into a brokerage where I felt like I was doing a job. I want to enjoy what I do. And so I found a brokerage. I don't want to say the name. It's a major brokerage. This brokerage was the office was only a few minutes from where I lived, maybe like 10 minutes, if that. I don't even think it was like probably like 5 minutes away from my house. And so I was dead set on this brokerage being my brokerage. I was very new to the business. I had no idea about commissions. I mean, I had some idea based on my studies and my exam, but I just knew that you could negotiate your compensation, right? Your brokerage split, your commission split between you and your broker. And so this brokerage, they were saying their brokerage split was 30%, 70%. I keep 70, they keep 30. And which was okay with me. I didn't have a problem with that. I had an interview with this broker, right? As soon as I got licensed, I had an interview with him. And everything went well until the very end. I asked him one simple question: is my compensation negotiable? That's all I asked him. That's all I asked this man. And when I tell you that his expression and demeanor, his countenance changed immediately, that was such a major red flag for me, because I didn't say I need my compensation like negotiated now. I want to change it. I was just asking. I was just simply asking. I feel like it is my right to know if my compensation is negotiable. But he had an attitude. And so it was very interesting because he ended up sending me an email saying that I had no tact because I asked him for that. So anyway, long story short, after that happened, I said, yeah, this is definitely not going to be my brokerage. I stopped responding to him, and I was on the hunt for a new brokerage. At that point, I started saying, you know what? I want a brokerage that will allow me to have 100% compensation. 100%. So I found this small brokerage led by one broker. I'm not going to say his name. And this was the brokerage that I ended up signing my license with. Now, actually, I need to give you a quick understanding, because if you're not an agent yet, you're looking to be an agent, once you have a license as a real estate agent, You cannot practice on your own because you have to be an agent under somebody. You are an agent representing a broker. Until you have 3 years in the game of real estate, then you can, take the exam to be a broker and become a broker on your own. But until then, you are an agent and you have to be represented. You have to be representing a broker. And so that's what I had to do. I got my license and I had to hang my license with a broker to represent a broker. Even though I do all the work and all the stuff, either way, I technically cannot represent myself. I have to represent a broker. And so, boom, I found this broker and so many red flags from the very beginning. So many red flags. These are the promises of this broker. The broker promised to give, how do I begin? So the what caught my attention was the broker promised to give 100% compensation. There's no broker split except for transaction fees. That is one thing. The second thing that this broker promised was that he will provide coaching for the first 3 homes that I sold. And this coaching is worth $500 an hour. But because I'm under his brokerage and I signed this contract with him, blah, 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 I get this coaching for free, except my first 3 listings that I sell, first 3 properties that I sell, I have to give him a split. And the split works like this. The first house is 50%. Second house is 40%. And third house is 30%. And then after that, I graduate to 100% if I decide that that's what I want to do. And so that sounded like a great idea. I'm going to get coaching. And on top of it, I'm going, and mind you, he said one-on-one coaching, you can call me at any time. You can call me whenever, of course, reasonable times, of course, but I can call him whenever. I have his direct number. He's going to do weekly coaching with his agents and all these things, yada, 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 yada. So, okay, great. But the only issue that I noticed on that contract that was not mentioned to me, I had to read through the contract myself to discover this on my own. One thing that I noticed was that I had to pay about $500 if I decide that I no longer want to be with the brokerage anymore within a year. So if I break the contract within a year, I have to pay that much. After a year, I don't have to pay that amount. That's like the fee that comes with it. I didn't feel comfortable with it. I had a conversation with him before I signed it. He convinced me that it was a great idea for me to do it. It's a $500 coaching fee that I'm getting for free, blah, 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 all these things. So I said, okay, great. I signed it and I started it at this brokerage firm. It's virtual. We didn't have an office, so we did a lot of our meetings online. First thing, we have coaching calls, and this coaching calls were very consistent. Every week, I think it was like 8:30, every once a week on Thursdays, we were having these coaching calls. And I remember I was able to call him directly. Like, he would always pick up. Things were going well. Until eventually the coaching calls started dying down. It was like maybe once every month, maybe once every other week. It was not consistent. And then when he would do the coaching calls, it would be extremely generic. When we would ask questions, he would tell us, this is not the best place to ask it. That we should schedule something on his calendar. But then when you schedule something on his calendar, he won't show up to the meetings. It was very draining at some point. And there were things that I needed him to help me with. I would call him directly. He won't answer the phone. I would text him directly. He won't answer his text. Then he would gaslight me when I reach out to him and be like, hey, I called and texted you. You never responded. And mind you, I had to say this in a coaching call with all these people. And then he would say, oh, this is not the best place to talk to me about this. Talk to my assistant. And I'm like, I've called your assistant. And your assistant told me to schedule a call with you. I scheduled a call with you and you never answered. Then I texted you. You never answered. So so it was all these things that were happening. And I got fed up. At some point, I just kind of gave up. I was still working, but I was not actively working because at some point I was like, this man is not even doing what our contract says. I don't want to give him 50% of my compensation if he is not helping me with my first listing. That's not going to happen. So I didn't really put in as much work as I could have with him towards the end, like about three months before my 1 year was up. So about 9 months into the company, into working with the company. Fast forward, okay. And now this is a really juicy story, y'all. Please. Fast forward, the time came for me to make a decision whether or not I wanted to stay with the brokerage or if I wanted to leave. So I scheduled a meeting with him. Mind you, this was the first meeting I had scheduled with him in the last like 3 months. And he accepted the meeting. And I know the reason why he accepted it was because I stopped showing up to the weekly calls and I stopped reaching out to him. So I guess he was curious to see what was going on in my business. So the day came for us to do this meeting. We had this call, we had a conversation, and I was bringing up to him all of my concerns and all of the things that I was experiencing, my frustrations with the brokerage. And this man, and I was hoping that we would resolve it so that I can move forward with the brokerage or whatever. I really wanted to move forward with the brokerage because I didn't want to have to go through the hassle of finding another brokerage and changing my license and all this stuff. Fast forward, I talked to him and I'm telling him, hey, this is my situation. I know, this, you might be really busy, but I needed help and you weren't able to help me. And, my listing, blah, blah, blah. He was gaslighting me to the point where I left the call feeling like, what just happened? I didn't even know what happened. He was like, yeah, like you never called me. You never texted me. And I'm looking at my phone and I'm like scrolling through. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this was sent to you. And I called your assistant to tell your assistant that I called and texted you. And I scheduled meetings with you and you never showed up to the meetings. And I brought it up to you during our calls and you told me you would reach out to me and you never did. So what else could I have done? This man was gaslighting me. And so I was like, okay, I had made my decision right there and then that I did not want to work with him anymore. So I told him, I said, Mr. Ragsdale, oh, I didn't mean to say his name. Oh, well. I told him, I said, hey, I really didn't mean to say his name. I really didn't. I said, okay, I believe that I am just going to stop working with this brokerage anymore. It was a pleasure working with you guys and I learned so much from you guys, but I don't believe that I'm a great fit for this brokerage. Then he told me, take some time to think about it. I know you have a lot of things going on in your life and it might be a little bit of a hard thing for you to deal with. So I'm going to give you some time. I want you to think about it and we'll follow up again next week to talk about it. And so in my mind, I had already made a decision that I'm not going to work with him anymore. So I said, okay, yes, sure. Within that week, I did a lot of research. I was looking for another brokerage, and thankfully, I found the brokerage that I'm with now, which I actually enjoy. I love this brokerage. It's great so far, but I will say that I'm really enjoying it here at this brokerage. And so I found my current brokerage during that time period. I called him back to let him know, hey, I have really strongly made the decision that I no longer want to be with your brokerage anymore. At the time, I had a listing with him. As soon as I told him that I no longer wanted to work with him, he said, yes, you're not getting that listing back. I'm not going to release that listing. That listing is with my brokerage, and therefore you use my brokerage's resources to obtain this listing. That listing is mine. What resources did I use to obtain this listing? I have no idea. I actually had to do my own lead generation, like my own brainstorming, I was able to find that listing. Not through him, not through his coaching, nothing at all. He did not help me get that listing. He did not help me with the pricing of the listing. He did not help me with anything in regards to that listing at all. So for him to tell me that he was going to hold on to that listing, I was like, you know what? It's up to my client. I'll let my clients know, I'm really not that pressed for the money. But I'm more concerned about what my clients are going to say when I'm not representing their property anymore. So he said, I don't care what your clients say. I don't care what your clients say. That's my listing. I don't care what your clients say. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to argue with you on that. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you. Whatever you choose to do, it is what it is. I spoke to my clients about it. I let my clients know, hey, I just want you to know that I have changed brokerage firms, and my previous broker does not want to release your house, and he wants to keep your listing. Please, send him an email. I even sent him a contract that they signed to say we no longer want to list this property with you. But he was so adamant about holding on to this listing. He did not want to let it go. He was only doing it to be petty. He had no reason to hold on. He felt like it was going to hurt me and affect me about this listing. It did though, because my clients ended up I'm still in touch with them, but they ended up not wanting to relist the property because of all the issues that they've experienced with that house. And so that really kind of made a problem. It really affected a couple of things, because now that house was on the market for an extra 6 months with him not doing any marketing, just leaving it there and just having it sit on the market. My client was out of the country. When he came back, he said he wanted to meet with the broker. The broker said yes. He had a document to present to him, a termination letter to give to this broker. This broker literally ran away from my client just so he wouldn't be presented with this letter. He ran away to his car. And I'm like, really? You really do not want to let this listing go that badly? Needless to say, the house didn't sell, so he didn't make any money from that listing. My clients, they didn't want to sell the house anymore. And all because this man was being extremely petty. I don't understand. And I didn't even mention what he said to me while I was on the phone with him when I told him I no longer wanted to work with him anymore. This man told me, because my father had passed a couple of months prior. He passed in November, and I released my license in February. He told me that the reason why I wanted to change my brokerage was because my dad died and I'm not thinking straight. And what he said right there was what did it for me, was what literally was like, yeah, I cannot work with this man ever again, because he really is trying to gaslight me into believing that he is a great broker and I'm not thinking straight because of what happened to me and my family. Which is not the reason, mind you. Trust me. I was thinking about leaving this brokerage way before my father passed. So for him to say that, it was really like a slap in the face. And I just said I really needed to leave. But this story time, I didn't even mention, my clients ended up having to take this man to the commission. And he was found guilty. They went to court and everything. He was found guilty. But even while they were going to court, this man was still adamant about not letting this listing go. It was bad. And it's like, why? Why are you so petty? For what? Anyway, I say all of this to say, agents, be very careful about which brokerage firm you decide that you want to hang your license with, right? The major companies, I don't know if any issues like that will be an issue. The only reason why I didn't want to sign with a major brokerage was, one, the fees, right? Extremely high fees. Another thing was, they have a lot of trainings, but it's not necessary as compared to what the fees are, is really not worth it. On top of the fees, then you have this 30-70 split that is like, okay, what work has my broker done to get these listings. I put in all the work for this listing. I put in all the work for this listing. Yes, thank you for the office space. Thank you for the printers, I guess, the papers and things like that. Right now, as you're speaking, I have a printer, I have a computer, I have a desk. I don't really need an office space from the brokerage. I have my own thing. So I needed something that does not, I don't feel controlled. I have my freedom to move around and do the things that I need to. That previous brokerage, even I wanted to make a slight change on my business card, and I couldn't even do it because I did not even have freedom to change my business card. That's how restricted that brokerage was, right? With my new brokerage, I can create my own business card. All I have to do is send it to their office to say, hey, can you approve or let me know what changes need to be made to my business card. They typically approve business cards. Your signage, whatever signage you have outside for sale sign or anything like that, they typically approve it as long as you have all the information necessary for that. They approve it. So just having a brokerage that gives you the freedom to do that. On top of it, I get 100% of my commission minus transaction fees, which is a couple of $100. And then I pay for the CRM as well. So I do have some fees that I pay monthly, but it's not office fees. It's the CRM and the MLS. A CRM, if you don't know, is basically the platform where you gather all of your leads, all of your clients, and you can send them emails in bulk. You can make calls. You can do all these things. It's a platform that really organizes your leads and your clients. And the MLS is the multiple listing service, which is where agents find all the listings. That's where they post their listings. That's where Zillow gets their listings from, Realtor.com gets their listings from, all from the MLS. That's typically where we post our listings. And so I pay for those every month. And so my fees are basically the bare minimum compared to the other brokerages where you're paying for that plus more, right? And so another thing with that, even that previous brokerage, they lied about the fees I was paying for, right? I didn't know I was paying for office fees. But you have to understand, this brokerage is virtual. We don't have an office. And when I spoke to him, he said that this fee that I was paying was for, we have two MLSs. He told me that the fee was for one of the MLSs, but come to find out that MLS is actually free. You don't have to pay for it. So when I spoke to him about it, he told me that's what I was paying for until I told him I found out that it's a free MLS. You don't have to pay for it. And then his story changed. So you just have to be very careful about who you sign with. Do your due diligence, do your research, pray for discernment to be able to recognize. Talk to the broker directly. You want a brokerage firm, not just the broker, because my broker responds to me not as much as the actual president and the owner of the brokerage responds to me. I send emails, they respond, I get my commission on time. Everything is literally, when I tell you, like, this business is yours, you're free to do as you will. Whatever outcome comes out is your business. That is something that I was looking for, and that's what I gained. But whatever you're looking for in a brokerage, if it's family or if it's a close-knit brokerage, if it's coaching, if it is trainings, if it is whatever it is that you're looking for, interview these people, these brokerages, and see if they align with what you're looking for, with your values. Okay, I will say though, with coaching and with coaching and with trainings, you can find a lot of that online. But also, once you do one transaction, a lot of it, all real estate transactions are unique. All of them are unique. And once you do one transaction, everything else is kind of like similar. The only thing is, if something comes up that's unique, just ask your broker, hey, what do you think I should do in this situation? Because you are representing your broker, so your broker should help you. It's not necessarily coaching, but it's kind of just like, okay, what do I need to do in this situation? But anyway, I hope this video helped somebody. I hope it helped an agent looking for a brokerage, and I hope it helps a client or a potential buyer or seller who's looking for an ideal brokerage to work with, do your interviews with your agents and with the brokers. Okay, interview the agents, interview the brokers to see who you're listing your property with or who you're buying your property with. Now, if you're buying, I wouldn't say really interview the broker. I don't think that's really important to interview the broker, but I will say it is very important to know who you're working with, period. Because, like I said, not all agents are the same. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video this far. I really appreciate it because I am long winded, as you can see. But also, I'm going to be posting a lot more of these story times because my experience in real estate, y'all, I'm telling you, it's a dog eat dog world. And if you don't know, I've been betrayed. I have prayed with my clients. It's just been amazing. I've made great connections, and I can't wait to share them with you. So stay tuned, and I'm gonna talk more about different things in real estate that you know I feel like will benefit those who are looking to become an agent, or those who are already agents and are questioning if they're doing the right things. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and remember, God loves you even more. Bye.